This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Clear Lines training session. I'm your host, Kipp Cohen. It is Tuesday, the 12th of February, 2019. This training session is offered twice weekly, Tuesdays and Thursdays, using the same link every time. You're welcome to join me twice a week. In this session, we basically cover the Clear Lines indicator running on the Medved platform. This session is mainly geared towards users, current users of the Clear Lines indicator, and for those of you that are interested in using Clear Lines, those that have not subscribed yet. If you have any questions, please enter them through the GoToMeeting chat box. Also make sure that you keep your microphones muted. This session is recorded and will be posted to the Equity Alerts to our YouTube page. You'll have to get to that from, hold on one second. To get to that, go to equity-alerts.com and click on the YouTube link up at the top right side of the page. That'll take you to our YouTube page where you'll find our videos. And again, if you have any specific questions, platform questions, let me know. I want to give you all just a couple of quick quick overview of why and how and where all this all came together for anybody that might not be aware. So for those of you that aren't real familiar, I was with WiseTrade for 17 plus years. And when I got word that WiseTrade was being closed after a failed attempt to purchase the company, I partnered with a developer and someone else, a trader that focuses on strategy development. And we started Clear Trading Systems with the initial intention of building a trading indicator that would be similar to the WiseTrade algorithm. We also have intentions of developing some additional trading indicators that my partners are currently working on, some other stuff basically. But this was obviously our priority was coming up with something for the something for the WiseTrade community to have available. Due to time constraint, to build a standalone application somewhat similar to what WiseTrade used to be like would have probably taken closer to 6 months to a year to develop, and two minimum full-time developers and a lot of resources. And we had initially built the algorithm to run on TradeStation as an indicator in a testing environment, and we were introduced to Jerry and Mike. They are the developers of the Medved platform. They their platform was already integrated with Ally Invest, or was available to Ally Invest users. Actually, their platform was made available to Ally Invest users for no charge if you had a funded Ally account. And these are the same guys that had developed a quote tracker, which I think was eventually bought out by TD Ameritrade. So they have had many years of experience developing trading platforms. And so we worked something out where they would we could develop my clear lines indicator to run on their platform, and we were able to create it so that obviously we could make it only available to subscribers, and that's kind of how this all came about. It ended up being I think a blessing in disguise, because initially I had a lot of concerns, about going to a full-blown platform, but it turned out that utilizing the clear lines on the Medved platform has been a very positive experience and very powerful use of my indicator, with the addition of some other technicals that we use, and with the ease of use of trading on the Medved platform. So it kind of ended up where, at first I wasn't sure where this was all going to go, and then it's been something that's been really great overall. So and so that's kind of gotten to where we are today. If you currently do not subscribe, the Clear Lines is only made available through equity-alerts.com. I am also a partner in that company. That's my daily webinar with the trade alerts that we do with Lindsay, the Medicate Kid Perry, and Jim Chanel. We have a Stephen Bilby an hour a day. So we have made that so you can either subscribe to just the alerts, just the clear lines, or we have a special for the combination of the two. And got a good following, good group of people with us. Everybody seems to be pretty happy with the results they're seeing on a daily basis. So that's kind of where we started, where we have gotten to, and so where we're going from here is just to continue to keep doing what we do each day. Club Metro says, are you still working upon the pressure charts like Y Street had? So that's a good question. At this point, no. I'm keeping it where things are just through Medved for now. Again, that the development cost and the resources needed to do that, I just it's not warranted at this point. Maybe if I can get this to 200 or 300 subscribers, then I can probably afford the resources to develop it. It's a pretty serious undertaking to build out a whole new platform. It is something I do still want to do, but Cometro, it's a big expense, and minimum two developers. There's a back end that that has to be done, and we've got something that works great. There's obviously a little bit of a learning curve, but if I were to build another platform, the price would be significantly higher. I'd have to jump up in the expense, and I'd rather keep my costs down right now to where it's affordable for somebody that just wants the platform. So you kind of have to weigh it all, and right now it just doesn't make sense. Like I said, if I can get to 200 or 300 subscribers, I think I could probably hire a full-time developer and begin that process. But I'm just not there. It's still me doing pretty much everything as far as supporting the product, and I provide technical support as much as I can, and training support, and so do I want to do it one day? Yes. Am I there yet? No. I promise you, when I get to the point that I can do it, I will. But I'm just not there yet. Hold on one second. I want to make sure somebody's having trouble getting in to this session, so. Anyway, that's kind of where we've been and where we're going. So I started working on a standalone, and it kind of got sidelined, and hopefully I can continue that again at some point. Anyway, all right, let's kind of get into it. Before I get started, any other questions? Is there anything specific? Okay, Bob has a question. How do you add fibs over 200%? Okay, good question. Let's start with that. So the first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to open up the dashboard. Okay, so there's a couple ways to hit the dashboard. You'll see these little icons that look, I call it the Rubik's Cube. It's a little square with 4 colored squares within it. Okay, that's the dashboard. If you go down also to your taskbar, you'll see so this dashboard does not have the everything on it. It's missing the file button, and it's missing these buttons. So you can get to the other one down at the bottom. You can also, I think it's Shift F12 on the keyboard. Is it Shift F? Hold on. No, Shift F12 on the keyboard. That'll open it as well. And then from here, from the dashboard, click Settings. You'll need to go under Charts. You'll see Fibonacci values, and you need to add in additional values. So you'll see I have 261.8, I have 300, 361.8, and 4236. Okay, this is the first step. You need to add these values. Once you have done that, that's step 1. And if you have other fib levels that you want to use, you can add more beyond these 4. I don't know what the higher fib levels are, but I'm guessing there might be some. Once you've done that, then you'll go to your chart, and I use the 15-minute, and you'll have to add in your candlesticks, so you have to uncheck hide primary chart. The candles are the primary. All right, so then you'll click under draw, Fibonacci retracement. You'll see I've added it to my quick access toolbar, and then you'll draw it. Now, the first time you draw a Fibonacci, you may not see all the numbers. You may only see a line. If you see just a line, you'll have to right click, get your little mouse to show the hand, right click till you see this parameters box. And then you'll make sure you have checked extend right, show line, percent, show line values. And then this is where you add the additional values. So you should have 0, 236, 382, 50%, 618 checked, 786, 100, 127, 141, 40, 1618, 200, and then the new ones that you added in, 2618, 300, 3618, 4236. I use a yellow line that is size 2, and then make sure you set that as your default. Click set as default and OK. And then at that point, you should see all the data that you are looking at, and you can move to a smaller time frame and see your fib levels. All right. Okay, sorry. Hold on one second. Okay. And then to remove the Fibonacci lines, you can either go to draw and hit the clear. It looks like an eraser. Or you can put your mouse over one of the lines where you see a hand and then right click and click the little X to delete the fib lines. There's a couple different ways to remove it. You can also actually, no, you can't do it. I thought you could right click. So it's either the little eraser or if when you do the eraser, you can choose either all annotations or you can clear Fibonacci retracements. That's what I was thinking. Okay. I wanted to spend a little bit of time explaining a couple of things about charts, just to make sure everyone understands. So right now I just have a 2-chart window. Okay. There are 2 types of charts within the platform that we use within Medved. One is what is called an intraday chart, and the other one is called a historical chart. So the intraday is what's going to provide us with our minutes, any minute time frame, from under a minute to however high. I don't even know how high it goes, however high you want it to go. And then the historical has day, week, month, quarter, year, and there's even custom. You can pick however many days you want it to be for the custom frequency. Traditionally, for those that were prior wise traders, we would use the day, week, and month, which were our short-term, mid-term, and long-term trend, the 3 wise men from Wise Trade. All right. The Intraday, you can select either one of the preset 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 30, 60 minute, or you can go to custom. And again, if you want a daily chart, you can use a 390 minute. That's basically like a day. Matter of fact, one of the things that I did recently is I added average true range to to my 15-minute chart on my popper dropper chart, so that if I want to go to a 390, I can see what the ATR is. Okay, I mean, obviously that's a little noisy because it's got daily pivots on it, so that makes it a little cray-cray. I can also go to a half minute. I can do 0.5, or if I want to go to a quarter minute, I can go to 0.4. 0.25, excuse me, 0.25. But I can get intra-minute, under a minute. It can be a little crazy to follow, but it does work. So when you're setting up your charts, each chart stands alone as far as when you set things like indicators. Okay, if you add an indicator, it's going to be independent of each chart. Or when you draw when you draw, unless there's something set in settings. Let me go back to settings. Okay, when you go to chart general, this setting right here that says annotations unique per chart. So you want to uncheck that the way I have it right now. If I draw a Fibonacci on a 1 minute, but I want it to show up on all my other time frames, I need to make sure that's unchecked. Or if I draw a trend line, I need to make sure that's unchecked. If I only want it on one window, then I check that. Then annotations will be unique per chart. Okay, does that make sense? Annotations. So that's anything to do with the drawing tool. So if I go and draw a trend line, well, okay, I need another minute light up because it's not going to go between a minute. So let me do this. Let me main, new chart, same as this one. Sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. So we're going to use two different time frames, 3 minute and a 1 minute. Okay, so if I go here and I draw a trend line here, see how it appears over here. That's because I have my annotations set, have that unchecked, okay? Annotations, it's going to draw on all my minute time frames. If I'm on a historical and I draw one on a historical, if I had a day, week, and month historical, it would draw it across all three, okay? So intraday all together, historical all together, okay? And if I remove clear, it clears them all. So the anything within the drawing button, any of these items, Fibonacci levels, a box, like a Darvis box or whatever, that's going to carry over to any one of my minute lights as long as that is unchecked. if I have it checked, then now if I draw a trend line, it's only on one chart. So that's this setting, annotations unique per chart. Okay, so annotations, all depending on what your settings are, will either be per chart or across the board. And then indicators, technical indicators, are on a chart by chart basis. Okay, so let's say on a 1 minute, I want to add, right now I've got volume, clear lines, and pivots, but let's say I want to add Bollinger Bands. Okay, Bollinger Bands are only going to appear here. They're not going to appear on this chart. Indicators are on a per chart basis. You can go in, there is a, hold on, template, I think it's set, let's see, set as default for all, I think does that. No, sync open charts, sync indicators. If I click that, that's going to sync it across the board, okay? Or if I sync the frequency or I sync the period, that'll sync, you know, any of those items. Wow, Apple's on a ripper. But indicators stand on their own. So when you're watching different time frames, if you like certain indicators on certain time frames, and I'll give you an example. Hold on, I'm gonna reload this layout because, okay. So if I go to my popper dropper layout, you'll notice on the popper dropper layout, on my 1 minute, which is my my left charts, I have pivots, obviously my clear lines, and I have the parabolic stop and reverse. It's going to be listed right here: volume, clear lines, pivot points, parabolic stop and reverse. On my 3 minute, I have volume, clear lines, pivot points, and I have volume weighted average price. So I have different indicators. If I pull over my 15 minute, because you can't see it's off on another screen, my 15 minute has volume, clear lines, pivot points, and then underneath it has average true range. So that if I want to see the daily ATR, all I have to do is go to a 390 minute. And then now I can see that Apple has a $3.49 ATR on a 390 minute, which is basically a daily chart. Now I could go to a daily chart by right-clicking and going to historical charts, and then I could add my indicator from here to get my average true range. And it's pretty much the same number, 350, 349. I think this one's a little different because it has pre-market data, but they're pretty much, I checked, they're pretty much the same number. So for those that want to be able to add ATR to a chart, you could put it on a minute time frame, put it down on the lower chart so you can have it separated. You'll want to squinch it by, you know, you don't need to see the full chart. And then that way, you know, you might find some value on knowing, well, what's the hourly trading range? All right. the hourly trading range on Apple is 79 cents. Well, there's some value in knowing that on a 60-minute time frame, you know, it moves around 79 cents. So there's value in knowing the ranges on different minute times, or even on a 15-minute. There's probably some value in there, knowing that. But that kind of solved the issue for me for ATR. So again, annotations, if you have it unchecked in the settings, will be across the board when you draw. It'll be across all your charts. Indicators are separate. They're on a per chart basis. Because each chart is different, because you change frequency, is the time period. Also, it's dependent upon being linked. So you'll notice my 1, 3, and 15 all have blue push pins. They're all linked, and they are linked to my popper dropper watch list. So when I click any of these stocks up here, it loads it across the top. Now I could open up another watch list. I can go to the dashboard and go to open a portfolio. Let's say I want to open the NASDAQ 100. All right. And I can just set that up here. You notice the NASDAQ 100 has a green push pin. So that's tied to my bottom list. So if I wanted to, I could sort by the biggest gainers and losers, which you can see that's how it's sorted right now. And I can pick Amazon, Google, those are up the most. Booking, Netflix up 12 bucks. So I can click here, and that's going to load it in my lower group. So if I have multiple monitors, then what I could do is move this off to one of my other monitors, and then it controls my bottom set. Your limitations are basically by how much screen space you have, or as I say, how much real estate you have to work with. So I could have 2 or 3 different portfolios open and assign different groups of charts to those portfolios. And actually Netflix looks kind of interesting up here. It looks a little extended. Let me draw a first 15-minute fib level. It actually might be extended. Oh, look at that. It's almost to the 3618. It's almost there, and a hold number. For somebody wanting to short up at these levels. Oh, you found what you were looking for? Okay. All right, cool. Sorry for the background noise. I think they're doing some work. Okay, so 1 second. Okay. Kind of like this up here. up at the highs. How do we load your bid ask gray box? Are you talking about this box right here? The quotes, show quotes? Yes. Okay. So again, the good question too. The show quotes are independent for each chart also. Okay. The I just drew a blank. The frequency data, for each each period, the period data, open, high, low, close for each time frame, 2 minute, 1 minute, that pops up automatically when you're on a chart. But the quote, the show quote, you have to go click up here where it says main, view, options, and make sure you check show quotes right here. Click the show quote button. Uh-oh. Whoops. Oh, man. Oh, it's... There we go. Click the show quote button, and then you'll need to open up the little wheel and then make sure you add any of the additional. It's going to have the bid and ask, I think. Hold on, I can't remember. Yeah, last bid, ask, and change. So you'll need to add volume, open, high, low, if you want those as well. And again, that's independent per chart. So I only have that on this layout, my popper dropper layout. I only have it on my 1 minute chart, because when I'm on my 3 and my 15, I can see it over on the left. I don't need it on. It takes up space, so I don't want it on all my windows. I just want it because that just adds more. It's more crap on my screen, basically. If you're using a 2-chart layout, then you probably put it on your minute. I don't even know if you can add it. I don't think, you know what? I don't remember if you can add it to a historical chart. Oh, you can. Okay. All right. I couldn't remember if you could. Well, I guess it makes sense. You should be able to have it on a historical chart. You might even want 52-week high and low. Yeah, I couldn't remember that one. Bruce says, I can't seem to find how to enable clicking on a chart to change the symbol. Is it a right or left click? So what all you really need to do is when you're on a chart, you know how you can tell if you're on a chart if it's highlighted, and you can left click like up on the top of the box. So when I left click, it highlights that window. Once I'm left click, then all I have to do is just type on my keyboard to change a symbol. So let's go up to the top one, Tesla. I can type in Hun. That was one we had earlier. Oh, I missed it again. Hun. Or I can left click in the middle of the chart and type. Anywhere on the chart. If you ever forget how to do a certain thing, the help is pretty good, helpful. The help is pretty helpful. The Medved help program. So I think under symbol format, hold on, symbols. Charts. Oh, changing chart. With the chart window active, just start typing the new symbol. When you do that, a dialog box will pop up for you to finish typing the symbol. If you then click OK or Enter, the chart will switch to the new symbol. If instead you click on the compare symbol button on that dialog box, the compare symbol indicator will be added to the charts indicator. So I think that lets you compare two symbols. So like if we went to if I wanted to compare AT&T, hold on, to the diamonds. So now here's the diamonds, right? So I can compare two symbols. Did you know that? You could do that. Let me open that up. So you can actually compare two different symbols at one time. I wonder if you can compare more than. Yep, you can compare. I didn't even know that. You can compare more. So there's the SPY. So this is great for those that like to trade like TVIX, or TNA. You can compare. Now, hold on. Hide. There we go. Delete diamonds. Delete SPY. So you can add different symbols in if there's certain things you like to follow along together on one chart. So TVIX and maybe, or what is it? TNA and what's the, hold on. The Russell. RUT X. RUT. Isn't that RUT? Yeah, there's the Russell. So the Russell, or actually what I should do is TNA, and then I can trace it with the Russell. Oh, no, I did it wrong. Hold on. TNA. I need to do compare. There we go. They're probably following each other identically, so you can't really, probably can't even see it because they follow each other. Is it even there? Wait, did I not do it right? I did something wrong. T and A. That's what I want as my main symbol. There we go. That's how you do it. So this is the Russell, and this is TNA. Or if you have two other, if you have a certain stock that you like to follow and you know it follows a certain index, you can set that up on a chart for those of you that like that. I always forget that that's a nice little feature that you can add in. Comparing symbols. And you can do multiples. I didn't even know that. You can have 3 or 4 different symbols on one chart. So if you have like a small basket of 3 or 4 stocks that you like to follow real closely, you could theoretically put them all on one chart. Which I think is actually really cool. So there's a lot of different things you can do within the system and within these charts. And this kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier at the beginning, is that the value of using the Medved platform is that we can do so many different things that we couldn't do before. And to me, it just doesn't make sense to, I feel like if I was to build another platform, I'd be going backwards. Because you can have a strip down for somebody that just wants to follow the red and green lines. I've created platforms for people that make it real simple. They're you have your lines and and 2 charts, and that's really all you need, and nothing else. I have several people doing that for those that want to keep it simple. But I think most people are enjoying all the added benefit of the marriage with Medved. It seems that the chart layouts are stored locally on my computer. So what would it take to trade from another computer, say in another state, while you're on a trip? So this is another great feature, Bruce, about the Medved platform. They have an export and import feature. So let's say you've built a handful of layouts. Like I have, if I go to File, Load Layout, you can see I've got a ton of layouts that I've made, just different ones I've built, okay? So there is a feature, File, Export Backup. This actually serves 2 purposes. If you want to back up your layouts in case something were to happen, you could back it up and put it on a pen drive, or back it up and store it to like I use what's that service? I forget what the heck it's called. Carbonite. I use Carbonite. So all my files get backed up to Carbonite. But, whatever. Let's say you back up to another drive or something. So you could back up all your everything. So there's a couple different ways to do that. You could do it. What you want to do is use this for my account only. Okay. If you wanted to share some of your stuff with other people, you can do that. Or if you want to password protect it, you can do that as well. But you're going to check this top one, and then you'll want your data selected, because that's what's going to bring in your quotes. You make sure you have all your quote settings, and then click the export button. Okay, and it's gonna make sure you know where it's gonna go to my Medved folder. Whoops. So export, and then click, it's gonna close all my windows, and it's gonna export all of my files, all my layouts, all my settings, everything. And it does, depending on how much you have, it may take 30, 40 seconds or more. So you can see it's, 24%, 25%, so forth. So it's basically it's compressing everything and putting it into a file. And then what we'll give it just a second, and I'll show you what you have to do. Once we're done, then you'll take that file, and the easiest thing is either use a pen drive and copy it onto the pen drive, or you can actually send it as an attachment in an email and email it to yourself, which is easy enough to do. Okay, it's almost done. So once it completes, then everything restarts. So now I can go to, so then what I would do is I would go to my files, my file folder, hold on. Okay, and where my Medved is, and and I'm, date modified, so it has the most recent at the top. Here's that file, Kipp.Cohen-2019-212 MT export. That's the Medved Trader export file. So I could take this and attach it. I could email it, or I could send it, if I had a pen drive, I could send it to my pen drive, or if I want to send it to another, disk drive. But I can open up my Gmail, and I can Gmail it to myself, basically. And then you'll go over to that other computer. So here, I'll show you. I'm gonna go to my Gmail. Hold on. And I'm not going to show you but I'm just going to go Gmail it to myself. Kipp.Cohen@gmail.com. I'm going to attach it. So this is the attached file, documents, Medved, and here's that export. Oh, it says it's larger than 25 meg, so it's gonna send it through a Google Drive link. So I'm not gonna do it. So the easiest actually would be to use a pen drive, since depends on what your limitations are from your email for the size of the file. Since it's a pretty good size file, you'll want to either if you have like a Google Docs, you could bring it into your Google Docs or put it on your pen drive. And then what you'll do is you'll go to your new computer, and then you'll go to Medved, and you'll just download Medved onto your new computer. You just go to download and download Medved. And then once you've downloaded it, then you'll go in and you'll have to go through the process of setting up Medved initially. It'll probably ask you to do that. And then you'll go to File, Import, okay? And wherever you've got that stored, you're going to have to find it. So if you put it in your Medved folder, then you'll go to that folder, and then you'll pick that file, and then you'll open and import it into your computer. And it'll go through, and then it'll set it up, and then you'll have your layout, all your layouts. Yeah, I love that feature. It's actually a pretty handy dandy little feature. So you can do that on multiple computers, a laptop, if you have, yeah, whatever. Yep. All right. We just have another couple minutes to go. Any other questions? Any other questions? Let me back up, make sure I didn't miss any. All right. Good session today. I will be again back on Thursday for those of you that care to join me. And again, I want to thank you guys, especially those of you that are already subscribers. I appreciate you being with me. And those of you that are not with me yet, if you're interested in getting involved, you can go to equity-alerts.com and then click the Clear Lines tab. I'm going to post that right in here in the chat box. You can go here. There's additional information. If you care to sign up, $59 a month for Clear Lines only. If you do the annual subscription, you get 13 months for the price of 12. And if you want the combination of the webinar, that's $129 a month or 13 months for the price of 12 on the annual. And you get my obviously twice weekly session for those of you that are Clear Lines only. You get ongoing technical support from me, as well as if you have any additional assistance that you need on training. I provide my new users typically with about an hour of one-on-one training. I'll remotely log into your computer, help you get things set up, help build a couple, one or two layouts for you, and then again, provide ongoing support as well. All for the price of $59 a month. Now, one other caveat to get for it to only be $59 a month, you would need a funded account with Ally Invest. If you do not have an Ally Invest account, there are potentially additional fees. If you're with one of the other brokers that Medved integrates with, which is Interactive Brokers, TD Ameritrade, or E-Trade, you would incur an additional $19.99 a month after 30 days from Medved for their platform. Ally offsets that. If you have a different broker like Fidelity or Charles Schwab, or you're in Canada and you don't have Questrade, then you would additionally need data, and that comes from probably Stockwatch, which is about $25 a month for data to power the platform. So the platform gets its quotes from your broker. And if it's one of the integrated brokers, then you don't have to pay additionally for that. If it's not an integrated broker, that's an additional charge. So your best bet is to have a if you have the Ally Invest account, then it's just $59 a month, no additional charges. Okay. And that's just for clear lines only. If you also want the alerts, again, that's $129 a month. So you're saving, I think it's $29 a month combined, because it's 99 plus 59 for the two separately. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, any other questions you have for me, you're welcome to send me an email, kip@equity-alerts.com. If you want to text me or call me, my cell phone is 972-841-8886. If I don't answer, just leave me a message, because I could be on the air taking care of something. But again, thank you guys. Have a great evening, and I will see some of you tomorrow morning in the chat room, and others I'll see you back here hopefully on Thursday. All right. Thanks, guys.